Hi there, and welcome to the Everyday Entrepreneur Podcast, where I, Kaitlin Fritz, help you reach your entrepreneurial potential. Together, we can build your dream social impact business so that you can leave a legacy beyond your 9 to 5. Hello. Welcome to this episode of Everyday Entrepreneurship, the very last one for the months of August, which for me, I find absolutely insane. Where has this summer gone? My name is Kaitlin Fritz. I am an award-winning entrepreneur and business coach, and I'm here to guide you through on how to start, build, and grow your business with impact. Because I believe that everyone has a legacy to leave beyond their 9 to 5. So on this episode of Everyday Entrepreneurship, I want to peel back your secret superpower as an entrepreneur. No, it is not waking up at 5 a.m. or dancing on TikTok or whatever trend is happening nowadays. It's really about getting quiet, which is almost counterintuitive as an entrepreneur. But noise is everywhere. We're constantly being bombarded with ads, messages on WhatsApp, personalization, algorithms, and everything in between. We are inundated with just mental clutter. And navigating all of this noise as an entrepreneur can be too much. I have been there. I've had the TikTok, Instagram whiplash. And in those moments, I have to step back and be still. Because the secret to your success is something that is often really overlooked, but ever more critical in today's climate. Listening. Yes, listening is your superpower as an impact entrepreneur. And it's not easy. It's hard. It was hard back in first grade, I think, and I think it's even worse now as an adult. We hear a lot of different things through all different forms of media. But ask yourself, are you actually listening? When I have those moments where it smacks me in the face, I usually say probably not. I am just there passively taking in all this information. But listening can be the unsung hero of your business. So in this episode, I want to break this down. First, we as entrepreneurs think that we're listening because that's how it's been modeled to us. I mean, come on. Businesses and entrepreneurs act all the time that they're listening to their customers, they're taking in their feedback, making the appropriate changes. Think of every marketing campaign gone wrong that then relaunched. We see this form of listening in feedback surveys, focus groups, even likes and follows on social media. Because come on now, who hasn't been swayed by a Trustpilot review? I am guilty as charged. So there are these quintessential ways as business owners we can listen to our customers. And listening in these ways is a necessary step to launch and iterate your product or service. But how often do we collate that information and see the forest for the trees? Oftentimes I see founders or coachees share with me their incredible data from their feedback or their focus group or their latest marketing campaign, but they don't take time to reflect. Listening takes time for reflection. Doing a SurveyMonkey is not enough if we as entrepreneurs don't take time to think about it. And when the world is moving at 500 miles a minute and the latest iteration, bug, whatever is happening in your business, it's even harder to step back and say, hey, I need to reflect and see what this data, what my customers, what my clients are actually saying to me. I've had to build this in, whether that is through a Google Diary date with yourself, stopping and having a coffee outside the office, whatever it is that slows you down to stop and reflect. Because I'm telling you, you will probably see maybe some points or some patterns that you didn't see before. And that is what I actually mean by listening. It's being able to stop and take it in piece by piece, not just going through the actions of launching those surveys. Now, when you think about the superpower of listening, we also need to make space and silence to listen. Being an entrepreneur, I feel like you're always out there kind of selling yourself, being the face of your product or service. You are the one beating the drum so that the world knows about the incredible solution you have to their problems. But to really listen on a deeper level, we need to be silent. I know we want to be the ones sharing our unique selling points. We want to be the ones talking to audiences, networking at events, speaking to clients or investors about our progress. But actively listening, and this is why it's a superpower, because not everyone can do it, takes silence, true mental space, and physical silence to hear what the audience has to say. I am not someone who is very good at being silent, if you couldn't tell. I mean, I think if I was really good at being silent, I wouldn't be making a podcast. But even as a founder, when I would be talking to users, talking to clients, I thought I was, quote unquote, listening. But really, what I was doing was coming up with a rebuttal in my head, or another way to rephrase the question I asked, or another way to rephrase the question I asked to share with them. I wasn't actually taking in any information. What they were saying were going straight through my ears and stopping at my neurons. But things really changed one day after I had back-to-back-to-back Zoom calls, and I was really just exhausted. We have all been there. I was too tired to contribute to the last conversation of my day, which, like I said, a talker like me, that's an anomaly. But by being silent, I was able to be a bystander and actually listen without my brain going 400 miles a minute. I was able to process what some of my founder coachees were saying to me, what problems they were having that were going unsaid, and what customers really wanted or valued. And I don't want it to have to take a series of exhausting Zoom calls for you to learn that step. So remember that listening takes space and silence. Now, last but not least, it takes practice to listen, just like any superpower. But your journey as an entrepreneur can truly benefit. As a business coach, I have worked with small businesses, startups, and consultants. Oftentimes, in the early days, they post their laundry list of services on their website and get no results. They come to me and ask why. Why am I falling short? I thought I was listening to what my customers wanted. But they weren't actually listening to their audience, stopping to think through the changes the clients want to achieve. They weren't listening to the transformation that the clients needed. They were just slapping down various terminologies on their websites of services and forgetting all of the benefits and transformation. Once they heard and practiced some active listening, they saw the transformations their clients wanted and were able to communicate that back to them. And genuinely, all of their businesses' bottom lines benefited. It takes practice, and it's not something that is going to happen overnight, but it can take incremental change and improvement. We get stuck on this hamster wheel of doing what we think is best, what we hear is best, rather than taking the space and time to listen and think things through. I am telling you, this ability has enabled me to find solutions to problems, help founders grow and scale. Do not underestimate this soft skill. I know we live in a world of tech, AI, and hard skills, but soft skills are really your entrepreneurial superpower. So let me know what you think. Is listening your startup superpower, or is it your work in progress? And there is no shame either way. All of this is a journey. Now, if you are interested in starting your business, getting that information from your potential clients and users, and really listening to what your audiences want, then you have to download my free ebook, Starting a Business with Zero Money. I give you some really great tips and tools that will allow you to build your business with just a little bit of caffeine, confidence, and some of my favorite cheat sheets on the products and resources for you to use. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Everyday Entrepreneurship, and I'm so excited to be bringing you some incredible new content, new interviews, and some new practical as well as mindset tips in the month of September. So give me a follow wherever you listen to podcasts, and I look forward to hearing from you next week. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Everyday Entrepreneurship. To stay tuned and most up to date, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow me, Kaitlin Fritz, on Instagram. And if you have any questions about building your business with impact, drop me an email with the link in the show notes. This podcast is produced by the great people at the Podcast Boutique. I look forward to catching up with you next week. See you then.